Thanks for joining us for our Carey Facebook Live Q&A with leading coaches and running experts. I'm Leah Moore, the Director of Training at Carey, and I'm excited to be here today with some really special guests. We got Carey Pinkowski here, Running Director of the Bank of America Chicago Marathon and Shamrock Shuffle. And we also have Kristen Eckert. She's the top Illinois finisher in the Chicago Marathon and also the top female runner in the Chicagoland area. Really exciting to have her here. She was second at the Shamrock Shuffle last year. We'll talk a little bit more about Kristen and her cool life setup that she's got going on now as we move forward. But it's the week of the Shamrock Shuffle. Everyone's excited. They're gearing up. We started the week by having some rain. We're ending the week by having some rain, so we'll see what's up.
We're having some rain now?
Yeah. So, Carey, what are some of your favorite memories from the Shamrock Shuffle?
Wow, having run in it, I think probably the weather is part of it because we've had some challenging weather conditions, but the tradition continues. I mean, obviously the athletes up front have been amazing. From Khalid Kanucci to Constantine Adida, obviously Dina Castor's performances were American record, which still stands, and she'll be joining us on Sunday. So some great competition up front. That continues with the Deloitte team competition. We have over 50 teams from around the country, so Kristen's going to get up there and run with some of the top athletes from the Midwest. So that tradition keeps going. That's what sticks out in my memory.
Awesome. You feel nervous hearing that?
Excited.
Good, that's great. So what is your goal for this coming weekend?
Well, goal is for our team to run well, so New Balance Chicago women, try to keep on there and running well, but also just a PR, have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not often that you get to run against such great competition right in your hometown and just have such a wonderful event, so excited to get out there, do the best I can, PR, and just make sure that at the finish line, I know I ran as hard as I did.
That's great. And sometimes it's hard to remember to have fun. So it's good that you're on top of it now. What about the rest of 2017?
Really excited about running the Chicago Marathon again. It's my favorite race, run as often as I can. It's well run, it's fast, and again, it's in your backyard. You can't beat it.
Yeah, the crowd's great.
Yes.
Don't have to travel.
Yeah.
Don't have to go.
Yeah, and he's here, so you kind of have to say that.
Yeah, exactly. You have to say nice things.
So, anything new this year that we have to look forward to?
Bank of America Shamrock Shuffle this year, we added a fitness walk, which I think is going to be a great compliment. I think we have over 1,000 people that are going to participate in that. That gets people out. They'll be able to start and finish where it finishes. Our partnership with NBC5, they're going to be doing some updates from the start line. They're also going to be streaming all of the finishers. So if you have some friends, relatives out there that want to see you finish or want to see Kristen finish, you can go to the NBC app or NBC5.com and see everybody finish. So that part of it's great.
Yeah.
Got some celebrities running. Peanut Tillman, former Bear, is going to run this year. He got kind of challenged by Lawrence Holmes from the score. So those two guys will be joining us. And really, a guy that I'm so happy is coming out, Mike Adamley, is going to run this year, and he's been such an advocate for running and participation. He's been a volunteer covering running, whether it was the Carey events or training or the marathon or the triathlon. To have him back out and join us, he's going to be our official starter, so it'll be a special day.
Awesome, that's great. What other leagues are racing?
Well, the men's side, it's going to be fun. Steven Saab, who's won 2 years in a row. There's only been one other guy that's won 3 years in a row, and that's Sean Crichton from Australia a few years ago in 2001 through 2003. We see that his work cut out from him. Diego Estrada, who we saw in the marathon, Olympian, has run 27:45 and 13:17 for 5,000 meters. He's going to be up there. Bobby Curtis, special to me because he's a Villanova guy, and I'm a Villanova guy, even though we got knocked out of the tournament last week. But Bobby's run real well too. I mean, he's an NCAA champion. He's run under 28 minutes. Those guys are going to be running up front. I think Diego, saw him the other day. He looks great. Men are going to be getting after it. Dina is going to be running. And she would not be here if she's not in shape. She's got the U.S. women's record. I don't know if she's thinking about the U.S. Masters record, but she sounds like she's ready to go.
Always excited to have her in town. So Kristen, we're talking about a lot of people who get to dedicate almost all of their time to running. Kristen's a little bit different where she is teaching and coaching and balancing a lot of things in life while also being a really, really strong runner. So how do you do all that?
Very lucky. I have an amazing support group with friends who run with me at 5 a.m. from school, to my team who I'm lucky enough to be able to run with after school, the team I coach, Plainfield South, boys cross country and track team. I volunteer there twice a week during the track season, so I get to run with them.
Awesome.
To your husband, who is wonderful enough to help me out, make sure I'm up and doing everything I need to do. So I'm really lucky to have a bunch of great people that just support and appreciate what I do and make it a lot easier.
Nice. And when do you fit it into your day?
5 a.m. runs every week with a coworker, Lauren Lemke. She keeps me on time, or as close to it as possible. And then after school, I'm lucky enough to have that be part of the job with coaching, or 5 in the evening, depending whenever I can.
Great, awesome. What tips do you have for, I think there's a lot of people that are probably watching that feel that busy schedule where they really want to get something in and they're trying to, do this. Do you have any tips for them too? Maybe if they don't have a person to meet up with, or maybe they do, I don't know. What are your thoughts on?
Consistency's big, just going out there and actually starting and then continuing to hold yourself accountable for it. If you can find a group, there's a bunch of great running groups in the Chicago suburbs or in Chicago itself that you can kind of learn about, that have great schedules for people who do work, because they also work whether they're going to be running at 6 at night or 7 in the morning. Trying to contact those different running stores, see if they have running groups that you can get to and be a part of. And then really just consistency is the biggest thing, and starting where you should. Making sure that you're doing what you can, whether it's running 2 days a week in cross training or running 4 days a week, making sure that you're doing what your body can allow. That way you can continue to build from it.
That's great. Good advice there. So Carey, I think there's a question that's out there now a lot of times. What are your thoughts on the 2-hour marathon pursuit? It's a big deal happening right now.
It is a big deal, and our organization, Chicago Event Management, which produces the marathon and the shuffle, was asked to participate in the project in the early front end of it. So Mike Nishi and Brad Rogust and Sean Barris from our operation team will be part of that process. So for me as a race director, who've been fortunate enough to put fields together that have broken world records, I mean, the big variable is you can recruit the best athletes. They can train with uninterruption. It's always the little things. But I think it's fascinating that you have an athlete as talented as Eliud Kipchoge that's going to be put in a perfect environment and see what he can do. I mean, it's very rare that an athlete is able to express himself, athletically like that. So I'm fascinated by it. Eliud has won in Chicago here. He's the Olympic champion. He's a very precise guy, and if they're taking all of the distraction out of it, all of the all the pieces that have a tendency to slow an athlete down, I can't wait.
Yeah. So you think it's possible?
I think it's very possible.
Yeah.
I think they've got the best guy in the world to do it. I think back of some of the guys, my conversations with Kelly Canucci over the years when he was here, and he talked about how fast someone can go on the marathon, and he felt at the time when he was running that athletes could run 2:01 in the marathon, but they would always say in perfect conditions with perfect pace, and I think that's going to be accomplished. So it's going to be fun.
Maybe someday we'll be talking about this moment the way we talk about the 4-minute mile now. It's like back then people were having these same sort of conversations, and nowadays you could run sub 4 and not even go to the NCAA championship. So it's crazy the way things evolve. I think we have a question from the audience.
Yeah, we've got a question from Facebook related to the 2-hour marathon. One of our viewers wants to know if there's a date determined yet or a time frame when the 2-hour marathon attempt will go down.
I think that'll be announced very shortly, but I'm not aware of the actual date. But they have the venue and the location and the athletes. So.
And I think, like Carey said, they might have to change the time based on weather
That's
elements that are completely out of our control, no matter how much we want to manipulate the situation.
And again, we were talking earlier, I think it creates a great deal of interest. People are paying attention to the marathon that maybe not have paid attention to it before. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts?
Man against the clock.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely like that. What's your thoughts as a competitive runner, like people out there doing this, or maybe even the idea of them getting in a crazy atmosphere where they're manipulating every type of factor that's out there, that sometimes when you go to the starting line, there's nothing else you can do.
I give so much credit for the athlete who's willing to do that, and
It'd be kind of cool
Train
to say,
for it.
hey, this isn't just the most ideal time, so can we wait another 3 hours?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's nice to have that hard deadline.
True.
You know, like for me personally,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like that competitive part of racing
Yeah.
against it. So it's not something I would like to do, but I
Yeah.
think for running, it's going to be a huge step
Mhm.
and just breaking a barrier, and then it allows other people to have that belief and that
Yeah.
training, and it's just going to
Absolutely.
continue to grow.
Yeah.
The times will then get faster. You see that again, like with the 4-minute mile. One person did it, and then the floodgates open.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think it's going to be a great thing.
Good, thanks. I think we have another question.
Yeah, one of our viewers wants to know as Chicago gets geared up for the Shamrock Shuffle, Kristen, how did you prepare and what are some key things that went into your training?
Well, definitely being able to train with the group's huge, but with the training that I do, especially in the spring, I take my easy days as easy as possible to make sure that I stay healthy, and then my hard days as hard as I can to make sure I can push my body to the limit when it comes to it. I throw in a little bit of cross-training workouts here and there to make sure I stay healthy and train other muscles I might not normally be able to do, but I think the biggest thing in training for anything is make sure you take your easy days easy and your hard days hard, and it'll definitely get you prepared.
I think that's great advice. I really do. Got another question.
So our Facebook audience wants to put Carey on the spot, and they want to know if he's running the 40th marathon, and then we'll just go on to does he have any plans to run?
I have to thank my dear friend Joan Samuelson, who keeps pushing me in that direction. I've been running a little bit more than I normally do, and had a couple of setbacks. But this is I can't believe that there's such good interest on that. So you never know. We'll see. Someone asked me if I would jump in the second wave of the Shamrock on Sunday. Unfortunately, I have other responsibilities that I have to look after. So big question mark. Maybe the sub 2 hour marathon will get me motivated to kind of
Yeah.
sub 5 hour marathon.
Yeah.
But it has to be perfect
Perfect
condition.
weather, so we might have to
Yeah.
lay at 8 hours, a few
Kristen
times
could
a
run
month.
her race and come back and get me and pace me,
For the rest of it.
from
Love
close
to.
in. Yeah, exactly.
A question that we had was, do you plan to continue with the no pace setters in the Chicago Marathon and just focus on head-to-head competition?
Well, I think this is two extremes with Chicago. It gotten so dominant on the pace setters. I think we took the racing out of it. I went back and looked at a lot of the videotapes. The world record, Canucci's world record, where it was a race between him and Moses Tanui, two-time Boston champ. Paula Radcliffe. All of the athletes that have broken records, we've had great competition. I think we kind of skewed away from that a little bit. I think there was a focus too much on time and rabbits and pace. And again, when we talk about the weather's not right, then the record's off. Let's it's going to be less than a race. So I think we want to bring the narrative of competition back. If there's wind, if it's a little bit warmer or cooler or whatever, that complements a certain amount of athletes. So I think we're going to stay with that format for a while, and then we'll see. You never know, though. We're always open to suggestion.
I like that. I love competition, so I'm always looking for that. What about you and this whole, hitting the wall at 20 miles? I think there's a lot of people out there who, whether they're training for their first or their 5th marathon, and then they may look at elite runners, and a lot of times they look at them almost like gods, and they think, they don't feel anything bad while they're doing that. Do you think that elite runners hit that wall at 20 miles, or what is your perspective?
I think it depends on the training. I think it can happen at any time, whether it's at the 10-mile mark or the 20-mile mark or 24, depending on the training you put forth. I think if you do your training right and you have proper nutrition and you can teach your body how to not only burn sugar, because you only can store so much sugar, you can teach it to burn fat as well while you're training, then you're able to not hit the wall at 20. I mean, I personally
Prolong it,
yeah, and run as hard as you can. And I personally do over distance, so I go over 26 miles or I run 26 miles at times. I think that personally helps me.
Okay.
But I can't say,
probably.
I can't say if I've ever hit the wall at 20.
Yeah.
But I know that there are definitely times when I just don't feel good.
Yeah. So it's more about knowing when you start not to feel good and preparing and really experimenting with yourself
How you can deal with it, and
Yeah.
your own nutrition. I think that's important, that everyone understands nutrition in a marathon is extremely important, whether it's your first one and you're planning on doing a run walk or you're going to be racing the whole thing. Because at the end, you have to treat your body well if you're going to ask it to do so much.
Yeah, that's great.
Routine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And maybe Carey will be emailing you as he's approaching the 40th marathon and saying, Carey,
I don't know-
I need some
I don't know about the
suggestions
26-mile training run, though.
Yeah, that sounds tough. How about your favorite and least favorite workout? Is there something that you don't like to do, but you do it anyway? And then there's the thing that you're like, yes, I'm so glad it's this day, I'm bringing it home.
I love long runs.
Okay.
I love long run tempos.
Hence the 26
I
mile
love
before
it.
the 26
It's
mile race.
one of my favorite things to do. I think one of my least favorite things to do is hills,
Okay.
but I've learned to love it, and it's one of those things that makes you better.
Mhm.
So I will do it, and I will become as good as I can at it.
Mhm.
I've become definitely a much
Yeah.
better runner, much stronger runner
That's great.
by doing those hills.
Awesome. Well, I think this has been great. I don't know if anyone else has any questions. I think this was a very informative, and I don't know if Carey has any final words.
I love this final word. 38th running of the Bank of America Shamrock Shuffle this Sunday. They are telling me we're going to have a nice little window, it looks like, with some weather. So again, we've got the Deloitte team competition, 50 elite teams and over 100 corporate teams. We've got over 50 charities that have teams that are raising. It's just the Chicago running tradition continues. We're here in the Carey offices, and this is great. This is the heart and soul of Chicago running. So just looking for a great day. Should be a lot of fun, and it will kick off the season for the rest of the series and training, and a great summer in the Chicagoland area.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. Join us next week. Next Thursday, we're going to speak to podiatrist Dr. Michael Chin from the Running Institute. So we'll see you next Thursday.